want to toot my own horn, but my trends to watch for 2024 an insurance event literally broke LinkedIn. The demand for the event with thousands of guests and thousands of comments was so high that people started having trouble joining us for the actual event. If you're one of those people or you missed it because you weren't in the know, you can get the whole recording pinned to my LinkedIn profile or over on my YouTube. The event was made up of insurance experts from across the world and all across different disciplines within the insurance industry. We had carrier executives, software CEOs, as well as influencers from all over the place that joined us for the conversation. There were 3 big trends that I think were pulled together as a part of all 15 of our different guests discussing what to watch. And no, generative AI isn't going to be one of the things that I talk about. Of course, it's a trend for us to watch, and of course, it's important, but I think it's on everyone's mind. The stuff that I want to dive into are some of the trends within trends that I started to see pulling the entire discussion together. Number 1 is the talent gap that continues to loom over the top of our entire industry. Multiple of my guests cited the fact that the insurance industry is pacing to see 50% of the talent retire in the next couple of years. And while this isn't a new trend, it's really starting to heat up as we get closer and closer to that predicted date of all of these retirements happening. Collectively, I think the insurance industry is waking up to the fact that technology needs to be a key strategy for offsetting the talent gap, but it's not going to get us there alone. There's a new recognition that in order to be able to move beyond this huge gap that we're seeing, we have to change the way that we're recruiting and retaining our employees within the industry. And a lot of that starts with education, how we speak about our industry, and what we're doing to help change the perception outside of our industry about what it means to work in insurance. The second trend that I want to talk about is the employee experience and truly the ecosystem that surrounds the work that people do day in and day out. When I say ecosystem, I mean the connectivity between the different systems that employees have to use in order to complete their jobs. The fact of the matter is that our software solutions are not connected enough within the enterprise to truly be able to build an employee experience that brings people into the industry and keeps them here. So if you're staying with me, you can already see the importance of integration and the ecosystem back to that idea of helping offset the talent gap. Time for the large monolithic software platforms within our industry to wake up to the fact that no software company can do it alone. And at the end of the day, it's going to be the customers and the employees that suffer if we do not have a connected enterprise. Which gives me a really nice segue to the third trend that I'm going to be paying really close attention to as we head into next year. And that is, how are we dynamically using data to truly drive decision-making within our industry? The insurance industry is one of the most data-rich industries across the board. But because of that lack of connectivity across systems, the free flow of data can be really limited, which makes driving decisions really difficult for companies. But in a world full of personalized experiences and the expectation that companies can deliver different products and different experiences today than they could 20 years ago, we don't have time to mess around with not figuring it out. And I know I said I wasn't going to talk a lot about it, but when we look at things like generative AI, this data piece is incredibly important. If your data is locked away and siloed, it's going to be really difficult for you to leverage it to be able to make the most of your AI tools or whatever emerging technologies you're bringing into the company. These 3 strings of the talent gap, integrations, and data were strung across all 15 of the different trends that my guests brought up during the larger event. And I think it's time for us to recognize that these are things that are impossible for us to ignore moving forward. But I'd love to hear from you. Go watch the event and tell me what your biggest takeaway was.